So today we're doing a deep dive into an online store, EvelynRoseBoutique.com. It sells trendy women's clothing.
Right.
And the mission here isn't to, pass judgment. It's really to give you, the listener, a kind of template for how to spot potential warning signs on any new e-commerce site you run into.
Exactly. And what we found in the sources is a recurring pattern of indicators. You could almost call it a model for these temporary or high-risk online ventures.
A model, okay.
Yeah, and understanding that pattern is really the shortcut to shopping a lot more safely.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Where do we start?
We start where most marketing begins. The story.
Right, the story.
Mm.
This site has a really touching narrative about a mother-daughter team, Evelyn and Rose, who supposedly inspired it all. It's meant to build that trust.
Mm-hmm. But here's what's fascinating. The photo they used to represent these founders,
Yeah.
it was generated by artificial intelligence. They're not real people.
Wait, really? Not even stock photos? They just created people who don't exist to sell a brand story.
That's what the analysis shows.
Wow. That immediately raises a huge question about transparency, doesn't it?
It really does. Using a synthetic image instead of real founders is, well, it's a pretty big red flag right from the start.
So if the foundation story isn't genuine, what about the actual operation?
Well, that leads us right to the domain details.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Our sources show the website was registered in September 2025.
So it's extremely new.
Just a few months old. What's the implication there?
Well, a brand new website just carries more risk, And with this kind of model, sometimes these operations are designed to run for a very short, aggressive period and then just disappear.
So you had to be extra careful when the online address still has, like, wet paint on it.
Exactly. And that temporary nature, it could also affect the next thing, the sourcing.
The products themselves.
Yeah. Many of the product photos on the site appear to be copied or just lifted from other online retailers.
So they're not their own photos.
No, which immediately makes you question their inventory. I mean, if they aren't using their own photography.
Do they even have the items in a warehouse somewhere?
Right. At best, it signals a drop shipping model. At worst, they might be claiming to have inventory that just, well, isn't there.
So if they might not even hold the inventory,
Yeah.
how can they set their prices? That's usually the hook that gets people.
And it's a big one here. The strategy is all about massive, aggressive discounts. We're talking up to 80% off.
80%. Plus extra discounts on top of that if you buy more.
And those kinds of unrealistic prices connect directly back to that potential short lifespan. Real, sustainable brands just can't slash prices like that across the board.
It's a strategy built for quick, maybe emotionally driven sales.
Precisely.
So then, the final piece of the puzzle. If they're selling all this trendy stuff at rock-bottom prices, you'd expect a ton of happy customers, right? Reviews everywhere.
You would think so. But the final point our sources flagged was a complete lack of independent reviews. Nothing on Trustpilot, no review blogs, nothing.
So just silence.
Exactly. For a store that seems to be pushing huge sales volumes, zero external validation is highly, highly unusual. It sort of confirms the feeling that this is a very isolated operation.
So if we pull this all together, for you, the listener, you have this 5-part pattern of fake founder story.
An extremely new domain.
Copied product images.
Wildly unrealistic discount.
And absolutely no independent reviews. When you see all of those things together, it forms a really recognizable pattern to watch out for.
And this raises that bigger question of how we can actually verify who to trust online. Now, this deep dive is, of course, just educational commentary. We're analyzing marketing claims and transparency.
Yeah, we are absolutely not telling you to buy or avoid any specific site. We're just trying to give you the tools to make your own informed choice.
So here's a final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
Given how easy it is now to create these very sophisticated-looking, but maybe temporary online stores, what's the one single verification step you think is most reliable when you see those crazy discounts online?
That is something to chew on the next time you're browsing.